After Talk Radio, you're in to all things music.
Okay, the first thing, I was in the Philippines, and I was 19, the first touring band. We stayed there 2 weeks. So I went to this club, and girls were dancing, and da-da-da-da. One girl asked me to dance. She just grabbed my hand. I got to dance with her. But then this other girl came up and said she wanted to dance with me. They're speaking in their language, so I didn't understand what was going on. Next thing I know, this girl's knocked the girl out who was dancing with me because she wanted to dance with me. And do you know I kept dancing with the girl who won the battle for the dance? It was just mind blowing that someone did this just to dance with me. I said, wow, she actually knocked her out. But I was too scared to stop dancing. I said, man, I'm in a foreign country.
They're probably sisters too.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome to Jackie's Groove, guys. It's Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. Let me tell you about this week, man. It started out crazy with an icon by the name of Mr. Andy Summers from The Police. He graced our show, and then I brought on. We did a live show Wednesday at our studios in San Diego with a virtuoso, an amazing guitar player by the name of Richie Kotzen. Richie and I go back. Not too far, but the band members I don't know for years. And so we went from rock and roll to rock and soul to a day that's going to be purely soulful on this beautiful Friday, April 28th. 2 days after my birthday, man, I'm still paying for it. But you know what? We're going to chop it up. We're going to get a little bit funky today. We're going to get a lot of bit funky. So with that said, I want everybody to welcome, with open arms and open ears, Funky Five's bass man from the Sacramento area, friends of the CEO and mutual friends we'll talk about later on. But I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears, I'm just going to come right up front. Just tell him, Mr. Eric EQ Young. EQ, welcome to Jackie's Groove, my brother.
Man, good afternoon, Jackie. How you doing, my brother?
Man, you know what? It's good. Nothing that coffee won't take care of. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so love it. I love it.
we're going to chop it up, man. You know, we talked earlier, right before we went on, and you didn't realize the fact that, you're a singer, background percussionist, and with ConFunkShun, the group that was part of my soulful soundscape. We'll talk about that. And you're in your tenure with them, Dale Edward. And I interviewed Dale last year, man. We had a great time. And all the people that you know that I really don't know, like Bobby G, and so on. And we're gonna bring that in. I'm also gonna bring in my boy, your friend, Mr. Florentino Benaventura, the CEO of the network, because there's something about every time I have every time I have a bass player on, man, he thinks he's privy to it because he's a bass player. So we're gonna bring him on and we're gonna chop it up and we're gonna sit there and we're gonna talk about all your friends and everything else and what you're doing. So with that said, EQ, do me a favor, man. Tell the listeners out there worldwide how it started, man. Where you were born, where you were raised, and as I always say, my brother, did you ever grow up?
You know what? People say that. Well, actually, okay, let's go back. I was born in Richmond, California. It's a very small city, maybe 10 minutes out of Oakland. So whenever I'm on the road, people say, where you from? I can never say Richmond because they don't know. They say, Richmond, Virginia? And I say, no, by Oakland. So they know Oakland.
Exactly.
But actually a small city. Grew up in Richmond, man. Grandparents introduced me to music. I was about 7. They gave me a a folk guitar, but it had only 3 strings on it. And my grandfather just put it in my hand, so I'm just freaking out. He said, "Play something for me, Eric's." And he added the S on to my name. Every time he called me, it was Eric's,
Eric's.
So, man, that was my first introduction to music. And, man, it was something just, self-driven. I didn't have lessons or pushed to play at all. It was just something, man, it's intriguing. So that's how it started. I was, about 7, 8 years old. And I actually got serious once I hit high school and I started seeing, Sly Stone and then Larry Graham pretty much was my inspiration to actually play the bass. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this question, man. What bass player of its own right and it has its own salt is not a fan of, of Larry Graham? That's where... That's where it starts, man. It starts with that, how many times did you play in a top 40 band? I'm 1 in a million. It's like, that is, and then people don't realize the fact that was his hit. But the fact is the man was the innovator on bass, man. And so when you look up to Mr. Graham and his playing ability, was he the quintessential bass player to EQ, or were there many more? Because I can tell you, in the area that you come from, there's a shitload of bass players up there that have hit big. Who inspired you?
Yeah, but, man, I'm telling you, I was in the 11th grade, Richmond High School. He was touring all the Bay Area high schools at the time, Graham Central Station. So he came. I was just getting into it. Started on the bass in 10th grade. So he came, a year later. And, man, to sit up front and see this in my face, someone is playing, they're dancing and singing and just being an entertainer. So I thought that was normal. That's what you're supposed to do. And all my friends, even my siblings, my brother, he was in a band, but they was much older, but they were dancing and play. So I thought that was just the normal thing to do. But they wouldn't let me play because I was so young. They said, "No, you're too young. Get out of here, kid." So I pretty much woodshed. 10th grade, I was staying in the garage 6 months and just practicing. Then after, 12th grade, moving on, I met Larry Graham. I played for his wife. I played for his wife, Tina. Her sister name is Denise. She was getting married. And I was playing with this band. They were a Jehovah's Witness band. So I wasn't a witness. They was actually trying to get me to study with them. So that's how all the Jehovah's Witness started with Larry Graham. So playing for his wife's sister's wedding. Her name was Denise. And that's the first time I got to meet Larry Graham. So I'm 16 meeting this man. Then a few months later being invited down to his home. He was living in L.A. and just eventually our relationship just kept building to where I was living in Japan. We ended up being on the same compilation together. Me, him, Stanley Clark, and I'm going to say guy from the name of the CD is called Bass Scream. It's on P-Vibe Records. I can send you a copy of it.
Yeah.
But, man, then moving on, man, we wanted to get a new band together. So his old guitar player, Wilton Rabb, was with him back when he was doing the 1 in a Million days. Wilton was like 16 then, playing with Larry Graham. So he was wanting to put a band together. But, he didn't want to come to rehearsal. So, they asked me, to stand in for Larry. And he said, "Man, you're the only guy who could do this for me." So he watched this on Skype. He lived in Minnesota,
Right.
And this happened like 6 years ago. So his now touring band is the band I rehearsed for him. So that was an honor. So I just saw him 2 weeks ago. We were on a cruise, Tom Jordan cruise. We had shows together. So it was just always, man, he uplifts me every time I see him. And he says, I do the same. I said, man, you give me so much energy. I'm trying to match your endurance. He has a 3-hour show. He's nonstop. And, he might do 1 or 2 slow songs. But, man, just to see him carry on like that, being at the age that he is now, and that's a young man in that body.
And think about it. When you just said something a second ago, something that was actually a taboo word growing up, let's say in the last 10 years, was a thing called cruise ships. Because, it was like the old TV program, The Love Boat. When you were on The Love Boat, man, your acting career was pretty much on its way out. Now, the coin is flipped all the way. The script is definitely flipped, man, because the fact is now everybody of notoriety wants to be on a cruise ship because you're there and you're making a grip of money, man. I mean, how have times changed? Is that crazy or what?
Oh, man, you feel guilty sometimes because you see all the people who came on the ship and how much they really paid. Then you look at yourself, you're being paid to be here and you being treated, with all these extra perks and stuff. I said, man, but I guess it's just part of the job. It's, you get the good perks, you get some ugly stuff too,
Oh, trust me. You and I have had our share of shit, man. Please. I mean, that's why they call the stuff casualties. Not a casual gig, but a casualty, man, And because I'm looking at now, we talked before, but you're a graduate of 1980. Correct me if I'm wrong?
79.
79. Okay, so you were a year apart from each other. Growing up in Whittier, where I was born and raised, let me tell you, it was I went to California high school, and it was better known as prominently white high. And then my wife, or my girlfriend then, my wife, was only 15 minutes away, and in her school, Sierra, had everything. Everything was funk, like crazy. So obviously, I went to, and let's kind of give you an idea. Groups that played at our high school was a group called Van Halen. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of give you, growing up, like you were saying, Larry Graham is around that area. Right. So we were in the fledgling areas of these people growing up. So when I was introduced, because I'm from an Armenian Italian family, we didn't grow up listening to, well, I did, Bobby Goldsboro and Engelbert Humperdinck and so on, but my mom and dad were obsessed with Latin music, is where my tenure of becoming a percussionist. So, that situation. So let me ask you this question, and it's a question I love to ask my interviewees. If I'm coming down the street in Richmond and I'm walking past the Young household, I go up to the door and I knock on it, and you open up, EQ opens it up. What music am I going to hear coming out of those console speakers?
James Brown, Al Green, Temptations, early Jackson 5. That was, I wanted to be Michael so bad.
Of course.
I remember singing his song, Who's Loving You? I was in the 5th grade. I just broken my thumb, and I was embarrassed that my thumb was in a cast. So my mom put me in my little suit and my little puff sleeve shirt, and I got on stage and put the cast behind my back, and I said, oh, well, the show must go on. So that was my first experience on the stage, and yeah, it was cool that, because, he inspired me. Michael Jackson inspired so many, but really just, I guess it was just in me to do it, because none of my family members really understand that, wow, where did this talent come from? Because I play several instruments with, being self-taught. And they say, where did this come from, But it was just the passion and the love. I still enjoyed it because, it's all new to me every day. Every time I touch the guitar, people want me to give them lessons, but it's hard to give lessons. I give lessons, but it's hard because I'm not a theory person. I can't tell you this is what type of scale this is.
Exactly.
It sounds good. That's me, It's just a feeling with me. So, so
and I dig on that shelf. Because I think about the amount of money that I've lost in my lifetime, because I don't read a stitch of music. I'm a self-taught player, and I get people tell me all the time, hey, man, I'd love to have you give me some lessons. I said, well, I'd love to have you give me some lessons, man, because, all I can tell you is the basics, man. You've got to build the foundation before you build the house. Everybody wants to get in. They want to, they want to put a strap of bass on. They want to buy EQ. They want to get that thumb that weighs 85 pounds and start plucking, and you can't do that, man. I tell everybody else, and I also tell parents out there, because I do a lot of speaking at schools and so on, and I tell the parents, don't shove an instrument down your child's throat. Don't do it, man. Take them to a store. Take them to a music store. Take them to a place that's surrounded by instruments. Let your child loose. Let the instrument call your kid. And also, parents, listen to this. If your babies don't have talent, accept it. You can have, if it's not, like in EQ said earlier, man, it's in your DNA. I'm the only musician in my family, as EQ's talking about that also. The only musician that has, is worth his weight, if you will. And it's a crazy situation because, like I always said growing up, I played with Santana all my life until the needle broke. So we all had that passion, and that's the underlying word here, passion. Yeah. Because if you're doing something, man, and you strap your bass on, you're going, oh shit, another fucking gig. Then you know what? Take the bass off. take it off and learn the words.
Excited.
Absolutely, man. You still got. Do you need me to tell you, EQ? After all these years, man, do you still get that quintessential butterfly in your tummy before you hit the stage?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, I still get those butterflies. I can't wait for them to turn the lights down and you hear the crowd scream. Then as soon as I put the foot down, I say, okay, go to work. Then everybody saying I look like a shark sometimes. They say your eyes start rolling back in your head. You start squatting down.
Yeah,
but
man.
I be in the zone, and I try to give the people, their money's worth. They pay for entertainment. I'm not a standstill type of guy. I got to move.
and EQ, what I love about the whole thing, because people who aren't musicians. And, and the whole thing is, I always said over and over again, man, there's nothing glamorous about what you do and what I do. The glamour starts when the lights go up. And that's it. Because everything else during the day, this wonderful thing with the consortium of all your players and hanging out and bullshitting backstage, those are times that you just love, man. Those, everybody just kicking it around. And we have a thing called sound check, and we get going. So, it's the whole day that makes it. I love that, man. I'm a studio cat, but I still do pick up gigs when I'm doing big shows and so on. And it's that immediate adulation from the audience, man, when you hear them screaming and clapping. But the fun part about it, man, is the hang with the boys and girls in the band. Do you still love doing that, man? Do you still love chopping it up?
Oh man, it's this instant bond. Or you do run into some jerks on the road, or man, you guys don't fit, because we tour together, and sometimes it be the same groups, but certain groups are still, they still wearing their sunglasses at night. Like, come on now, you're not a star now. You don't need all these security. You don't know this road. So, and take up all people's sound check times. So, but mostly, man, it's a big brotherhood. It's like, to be honest, I'm more close with other old school groups like the Barcades. They like brothers. Like ConFunkShun, we are a business. You know what I mean? We don't hang out.
Brother,
I've been with the band 23 years, but we don't
Have you been that long, man?
This New Year's Eve will be my 24th. Yeah. But
I got goosebumps,
years,
man. I got goosebumps. You just said the group Barcades, shake your rump to the funk.
Yeah. Man.
Remember that tune, of course.
Man, actually, it's Larry Dodson. He's retiring after this year, the lead singer of the Barcades, and we're doing a show together on my birthday down in Memphis. So we're gonna have it's his last show in Memphis, so it's gonna be a whole big Juneteenth thing. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be a big event to send him off. He just want to stay home. I think he has a special needs child. He just want to be there for the rest of his years. Yeah. Man.
Hey, EQ, you know what? We're bouncing out of segment number 1 right now. Do you see how fast it's going? It's going by right away. 18 minutes went by. So
you're a good host. You're a good host.
Man, thank you, brother, man. I'm a hired grunt like you are, brother, just trying to make $1 out of 50 cents. You know what I'm saying? So with that said,
sir.
coming out of segment number 1, going into segment number 2, with my in-studio guest, man, I always like to say, man, you got to funkifize if you're playing the bass right. And we're talking to Eric EQ Young, 23 years with the luminous and ever-funky group called ConFunkShun, ConFunkShun, people. So with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. Come back, sit back, enjoy Mr. EQ coming up on this next segment. Don't go anywhere.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
In my music, not about that fashion. I'm all about that passion. A quiet soul with lots of energy, and I can't wait for all of you to see me. I know what you want.
Okay, now I don't know about you guys, but if you didn't have in your memory right now a picture of an animated train and a brother by the name of Don Cornelio saying, you know, love. And that's what it's all about, man, because right now I have stepped back into the 70s and the 80s with my in-studio guest, Mr. Eric E.Q. Young. Hey, Eric, do me a favor. Let me just say one thing to the people out there listening worldwide. When you can't listen to Jackie's Groove live, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 noon PST, do yourselves a favor and go on to iTunes and to Google Play and download our free and easy and navigate application, 2 words, Intertalk first, radio second, and take Jackie's Groove and all of a plethora of our shows on Intertalk with you. You guys don't want to miss a thing, man. The word is called stream. It's one step, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger than Sirius FM, Sirius XM could ever think about. So, and mark my words, I said that today on April 28th. And what I'm going to say right now, man, is that I am filled with funk, man, and that's F-U-N-K, quantified, because that song coming in, EQ, tell me about that tune we just heard about, please.
Man, I asked my fans how they see me, you know. I wanted them to have a lot of input how I wrote that song. And I had the hook, my passion, and I just had them, I posted something on Facebook. I said, how you guys see me? You know, because, you know, we're all pretty much different than what they see, you know, on stage. You know, they say, you see a lot of energy, passion, entertainer, you always give your fans love. I said, man, let me put this in song, man. Collaborated with this gentleman out of he lives in North Carolina. Never met him in person. Name is Ron Smooth, and we collaborated on that track. And I just built the track up, and man, I laid the bass down and programmed some drum parts for him, and the guy in North Carolina, he played some guitar. Actually, he did the guitar solo. Then I hired my cat in Japan. He did some extra synths, and I had a girl playing the sax solo at the end. If you ever listen to at the end, she's a good saxophone player. I've been knowing her for like 20 years. And we did this all via internet. We were never in the same house together. I do a lot of my recordings at home on my Pro Tools setup.
I'm right there with you,
pretty
man.
much all the stuff. Yeah, I just do it myself. I said, I'm getting better. You know, the stuff sounds pretty good coming through the phone. I said, man, okay, my mix is not. I'm so critical. You know how critical we could be.
You better be.
man, but man, I was
So
happy
you're telling me
with that
those?
mix.
You're telling me those horns I was hearing? Those were synth horns or were those live horns?
Synth horns, man. This guy,
Thank
he
you.
play like Earth with a Fire to me. He lives in Japan. His name is Keith Haynes, old friend of mine, man. He just lives in Japan, you know, and I used to live there myself for 2 years back in '94. So I would come back and do ConFunkShun show because they wasn't working that much when they first got back together in '94. So I would go back and forth until, you know, we really got to rolling, you know.
Tell the listeners out there, what was the name of that song we came in with?
My Passion. Yeah, it's also on iTunes, Amazon. Man, actually, the video's out there too. If you want to check it out, just go Eric E.Q. Young and type in My Passion. And the videos is hot.
Yeah, it's hot, man. And the song is hot, man. You know, we were talking offline, man. You know, we had kids out there, you know, because we have a great demographic, man. We have old fucks like you and me, and I say that with all due respect. Yeah. And then we have even older, then we have the younger set coming up, man. And there's a thing that we had growing up, listeners, and EQ will back me on this. It was called Battle of the Bands. And it was always in a regional area, man, you know. And I was fortunate to join a band back in, I think, my sophomore year in high school called Nice and Easy. And we won. There was nobody around us, man. And every time there would be big bands coming through town, we had a great club called the International Club in Pico Rivera, a huge, huge club. And then the Raincross Square Theater in Riverside. And there would be these groups that were already hitting. And we would be asked to open up with the supporting act. And we would support a group called the Hughes Corporation, Rock the Boat.
I remember that. Oh my God.
Yeah, man, and also some girl by the name of Tina Marie, and another girl by the name of Evelyn Champagne King, and so we were the band that opened up for these groups. And I said to EQ on break, "Hey man, do you remember the group called Sun?" And they spelled their names SUNN. And I got to tell you, a lot of guys our age, Eric, EQ, they don't remember the band. You do remember the band.
Yeah, because the bass line was so funky. Man, my goodness. It was so funky and simple, man. My little top 40 band in high school, 12th grade, we used to play that song, man. That was a fun song to play. So, yeah.
Because we were,
about, the war.
Yeah. And I was telling you on the break, man, we opened up for a group once. It was the group that I could not believe. I lost the air in my lungs when we found out we were opening up for a group called Tower of Power. And so we get to the gig, man, and I'm beside myself with joy, man, because I'm just blown out of the water. We're opening up for Tower. And there had to be like maybe about 2,200 people, 2,300 people in this audience, and they were there to hear Tower of Power. They weren't here to hear Nice and Easy. And so we had about 5 TOP songs in our repertoire. Doug Kim Shon, the road manager at the time, God bless you, Doug. We lost him a few years ago, but he walked up and said, "Hey, I understand you guys play some Tower of Power." And right away, Mike Jimenez said, "Yeah, man, we do." And he goes, "Not tonight." And you could have heard a pin drop. And Mike goes, "That's what we're known for." And he says, and then Doug said, "Yeah, but what you're known for is the band that made those songs. You ought to be having fun. Can't stand to see the slaughter, doing all right. What is hip?" I mean, the list goes down the line. So needless to say, I was floored, and we played 20 minutes. We had to fight for songs, so we didn't rehearse what we were playing because we were going to play some Tower. How stupid of you, Michael, to think that we're going to play some Tower Power tunes when we're opening up for them. But nonetheless, that was in 77. Actually, 78 during my senior year. And then right after I graduated, I had the blessings to join this band called TOP on December 17th, 1979 was my first time with that band. And to this day, next year, they celebrate 50 years as a band.
Wow.
You living up in Richmond, Sacramento, you weren't that far from Oakland, brother. I mean, you were right there itself. So did Tower Power, did Rocco Prestia, did those guys lay any DNA into your body, in the DNA of funk?
Man, actually, in 12th grade, I tried to take a music class. They wouldn't teach me bass, and I wanted to play bass. They said, "Just teach yourself." So actually, I actually got the trumpet player. He was playing with Tower of Power. He was the music teacher at Richmond High. But he said, man, I can't teach you bass. You know, you can play with the jazz ensemble, but, you know, I said, man, I want to learn bass, you know, but there was no one to teach me. He said, you know, come join my band at night, you know. So he had a band, you know, he had some high school cats together and friends of mine, and he had a band he was trying to put together. So that's how I got my grade, I think, you know, because, you know, I actually had an hour in his class, but he didn't teach me. He said, just teach yourself. So I bought a little book, but I was bored with that. I had a little boombox radios, and that was my teacher, man. I had a little radio. So for an hour, I was by myself. I didn't have to go into class. I go in and say, I'm here, teacher. Then he said, cool. I'll be gone. I'll see you tonight, you know, at rehearsal. And actually with my algebra teacher.
Really?
So I learned who you know is very important in the business. Yeah, it's like, gosh, I think I got through these classes just because we jammed together at night. And it was cool, you know. Then my first experience on the road, 19, just fresh out of high school, didn't know what I was going to do, but I wanted to play music. I ran into this agent who ended up being a Janet Jackson tour manager back in the Rhythm Nation days, Marty Hum. He had a Trade Winds agency production, all these bands. There was always bands back in our era, man. You could go on every corner, every little, you know, city near you. There was always bands, so... Man, to me, I don't see that anymore. I mean, the schools, they don't have programs no more. But I just don't see the upcoming musicians. I see a lot of YouTube stuff, but everybody's a soloist. You know, no one has a unit.
We're going to talk about that also, because I talk about to everybody on the show that I show what it is about, what it's going to do to stay relevant. Look at you, man. You're killing it right now. We're the same age, and we're both relevant. We're relevant, man, because we got our asses kicked. We got doors slammed in our face. We are bruised. We are beaten. We are bloody. But, you know, we came out. What does not kill you makes you stronger, man. I don't know if I always want to believe that. But the fact of the matter is, man, I want to ask you this question. I just said about the Battle of the Bands. Looking back to your junior and senior year, are you still, I can only imagine that area that you're in, are you still hanging out with some of the cats that you played with originally?
Yeah, I do see a lot of them. You know, I do a lot of local work, but never got that chance to get on that big stage. And, you know, I do shows, and when I'm off the road with ConFunkShun, I just try to open doors for other cats just to be seen if they just want to be, you know, introduce their own music. I'm trying to push them to do their own music and stuff. Doing is covered music, but it's up to the fans to support that too, you know, to give it a chance, you know. And let's listen to some new music, you know. Yeah,
man. You know, it's all up. I don't forget, man, because Emilio Castillo, my mentor, the leader and founder of Tower Power, he's still my big brother, man. I mean, he's 10 years my senior, but let me tell you, EQ, when I'm around Mimi, I'm still 19 years old.
Yeah.
And it's very weird, man. I mean, it's like I've been blessed to play on the biggest stages with the shit out there, man, the big boys.
Right.
But when I'm around Mimi from Tower Power, where I got my start, I get humble. I get real humble, man, because, you know, in the area that you know, in that Sacramento vibe up there, you know, you don't think there's a consortium of great players. One of your other friends, one of my buddies, new buddy, but I love him, man, is an amazing saxophonist with Sheila E. by the name of Eddie Minifield. You know, and man,
going back to Eddie M. God, and let me tell you a quick story with him.
Please.
I was with a band called Radiance, and we had a record deal with Quincy Jones, but they put an album on the shelf for 1 year. So Eddie M. had a band called Makes Company. Bobby actually, and they wanted me to play guitar because they do. I play guitar. They had another bass player, John Parrish. He plays with Earth, Wind & Fire right now. He's the
drummer extraordinaire, brother.
Yeah, so they started this new band called Mixed Company, and then I had joined it. I was ready to quit Radiance because I didn't figure the album was going to come out. Right. Yeah, I ended up, you know, the album did drop, and I came back to the band, and Bobby G, as we were speaking off a line, Bobby G, he took my place as the guitar player, so they ended up working with Prince and all these people. I said, man,
I'm sorry, who did you just say, the little purple one?
Yeah. So they got to, you know, be around that camp very early. Sheila E., you know, Prince, you know, my family, the family, you know, that group, and just they had a little spin-off group. Oh gosh, It will come back to me. But John Perez, Jesse Johnson, they was helping him out. This was around the Minneapolis sound a lot. So that was my opportunity. I think missed out on that scene. But Eddie M, still a good friend. We just did a Prince tribute together last year, and he joined me in San Francisco. Man, it was just awesome to see him and play with him again. He's still a good friend, man.
Can you believe it's been on the 21st of this month? It's been 1 year since we lost the Purple One, man. I mean, we've been blessed here at Intertalk, to interview the players of Prince. I kind of wanted to hold off because I didn't think it was time at that time. But everybody said, no, Jackie, we'll do the show, man, because, it's a healing, with Rhonda Smith, one of my favorite bassists, and not to mention the fact that she's fine. She's fine. Yeah. Let me tell you, if the girl couldn't play bass at all, she'd be fun just to look at. And you know who else is fine right now, man? And I hope he's on. He's got his earphones on. I think he's as fine as wine, man. And he's another bass player, and he happens to be my boss and the CEO, Mr. Florentino. Are you there, my brother? Are you there with me and EQ right now? Go grab him. Tell him he's fired if he doesn't get on in a couple of minutes. But that's the whole thing, because I don't know what it is about me, EQ. My second instrument that I've always wanted to play and I can't is called bass. And I've surrounded myself by the bad boys of bass. I've now got you on my roster. Stanley Clark, Bunny Burnell, Brian Bromberg, Rhonda Smith, Rocco Prestia. It's that drive. And people don't understand it that aren't musicians, or if they do, that bass is probably the most percussive instrument next to percussion. Do you like playing with percussionists at all? I'm going to be upfront and ask you that. Do you love a percussionist, a good percussionist?
I love it, man, because you could go all kind of genres just by the beat that the percussion plays. You go, like the Latin beat or the go-go beat. You can just do so much. I love it, especially if they're locking with the drummer. It's magic. I love it.
And and you just brought up a genre of music. Do you remember? Of course you do. You're old enough to remember. In Washington D.C., there was a huge movement of go-go music. Do you remember that? That whole vibe back then?
They love that because, man, it just works. You don't even need any music, just that beat, and because it makes the song itself. I love it, man. Then you add some horns in it. It's crazy. I kind of want to dabble with that because the West Coast really don't understand that beat. They don't really push it like the East Coast do, man. I would love to try to, that was a big song for all, across the board. But something in that, somebody needs to continue. Because Chuck Brown, he passed a few years ago. So,
yeah, I know.
Like that, somebody should continue. But man, I'm just wishing to see another upcoming band. All I could think of, younger than me, okay, Tony or Mint Condition. But who else is left?
Well, and that's the situation. It's called. People aren't really dying left and right. It's the fact that we're getting older, man. And we're going to talk about our brothers and sisters that we've lost and the ones that inspired us and the ones that will continue to inspire us through faith. And so when we come back on segment number 3, believe it or not, number 3, we're going to pick it up, man. We're going to talk about it. And we're just going to talk about what drives you. We know passion drives you, but what drives you to wake up every morning and to strap that bass on and to smile even when you're not feeling it, man. And so I want the younger listeners to listen to older guys like us. We can talk about it. We can bitch and complain and everything else. But, man, we're thankful. Every day, man, I wake up and I say God is great. And we'll pick it up. Again, too, we're coming out of the segment number 2 into segment number 3. And I'm going to bring on Florentino because, he's chomping at the bit right now. He was doing some Facebook work a little while ago. So we come back. Guys, don't go anywhere. Eric EQ Young on Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. Guys, don't go anywhere. Segment 3 right around the corner. Stay funkified.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Tony Lindsay, lead vocalist with Santana, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertone.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertone.
Everybody, welcome back. Believe it or not, this is segment number 3. EQ, it's blowing by, brother, and I think we're talking more offline than we are online. Guys, Jackie Bertone, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. I'm talking to a new friend, man, but an old brother and old soul, man, Mr. Eric EQ Young, bassist with ConFunkShun. We haven't even talked about ConFunkShun yet, you know, because they're going to have to hold on because we're having too much fun. Let's talk about that song. EQ, what was the song we talked about? We came in with. Talk to the audience.
Man, that song right there, my daughter, she was murdered on my birthday, June 16, 2003. And those lyrics I found, actually my son, he found this poem. And those were the lyrics to that song. It's called Beautiful Brown Eyes. So it was a song about, you know, waking up and seeing the eyes of Jesus looking at you. I said, wow. So I put it into song, man. It just gave me chills that I forgot what songs that I had sent you guys, but man, yeah. And even when you open the show with Amazing, that song is regarding cancer, you know, survivors and just people who are caretakers, you know, people with cancer. So that song, I watched this lady on Facebook. She took the whole story to us to where she took the chemo, lost her hair, but she was so brave and being a soldier and just showed her story as she, you know, went through all the changes and how she beat it. And it was just amazing. And that's how I wrote that song. It's called Amazing. Yeah.
When you talk about stuff like that, man, you know, stuff that inspires and the things that we've done, you know, I interviewed Richie Kotzen on Wednesdays, I said, and I got the most beautiful thing by one of the people that works in his camp talking about how much they love Jackie's Groove and the fact that we are the only show worldwide that actually does what we do. And what we do is we take the listeners behind the velvet rope, so to speak. They give them the chance to walk in EQ's feet, you know, his 30-plus year career, if it's only 2 hours. and there's so much to go, and there's so much to be thankful for, and as you just said about that situation, we talked offline about all the people that we have lost in the last 2 years, man. I mean, the Grim Reaper has it out. Maybe he's got bigger plans for this, but I'd always say the band in heaven is crazy. It's just crazy. And as again, and I always say, I hope they're not looking for, a 56-year-old bass player and a 57-year-old percussionist anytime soon, because I'll go out kicking. And speaking of that, man, let me ask you a question, brother. The things that we did in yesteryear when we were young, it's different now, man. It's different. I mean, you're in shape. I've gotten in shape. But we can't, I can only speak for myself, I can't do the things that I used to do 30 years ago. Come home at 4 o'clock in the morning after stopping in East LA and eating at a taco wagon, and then sleeping at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. As we get older, and you'll agree with me, man, we can go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, but you and I are back up at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and that's so true. So
yeah,
true.
and that's the crazy part about it. So for the young listeners out there, what is it that you can tell them, other than woodshedding, practicing every day, cutting those calluses off and so on? What can you tell the young listeners, the young brothers and sisters out there, what it takes to stay relevant? Go ahead.
Stay relevant, man. You got to be true. Really, you got to know your weaknesses and your strength and play on that. If you want to be a vocalist, study your craft, study the greats, because you got to be more than just a singer. You have to be an entertainer. That's why I tell musicians, do you just want to be a musician or you want to be an entertainer? It's both. It's two different sides to me. I don't think I'm a great musician at all, but I think I'm a better entertainer. People say, no, you're good, but I'm still learning. I still want to get better. There's a lot of things watching bass players do I can't do because I have a broken thumb, but I never use that as an excuse. I broke my thumb at age 8, so it doesn't arch like everybody's normal bend of their thumb. So people see me play, and mostly I go down. If you look at me, I never do the upstroke because my thumb is not strong enough to do that because my handicap, but it never stopped me. So that, I appreciate they like how I play and do that. But man, you got to stay true. I'm telling the truth. My parents was not behind my music gift at all. They really thought I was going to be the baseball player. And I just didn't have mentors at that age. Yeah, I was good at baseball. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played varsity 9th grade, so shortstop, so I had to be pretty good. But I just got tired of the coaches with the yelling and the running and getting dirty and the hormones, 16, gosh, you want to play on the football team. The girls are coming to those games. They're not coming to the baseball.
What they were saying was, at that age, brother, we used to get horny just pulling into a tight parking space at the age of 16, man. And believe me, nobody gets into music. Yeah, and nobody gets into music to starve. Trust me, we knew exactly what we were doing growing into the situation. Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question because I have to really pick and choose my battles. But you and I have a rapport here, and I ask this question out to the who's who in the industry. It's an unfair question, but it's a logical question because my listeners want to know. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you this. It's a difficult question, man, and a difficult answer to do, but I'm going to ask you this situation. I'm going to mention an instrument, and I want EQ to be honest. Now, you can only give me one answer. Okay? Let's start out with number one. EQ's favorite drummer.
Oh, I want to say, gosh, it's so many. Oh my goodness, it's so, man, John Blackwell.
Okay, I don't even have to go any more on that. And God bless John. May the good Lord bless him so he can get his chops back, man. John Blackwell, everybody,
what I liked about him?
Please tell me.
He's great. He was an entertainer as a drummer, though. You could watch him all day, but he's bad. A beast.
That smile.
Yeah, yeah, man. Oh my God, I'm praying for that brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just so you know, that was Prince's drummer, John Blackwell, for 14 years, and John's recovering, man. John had a couple brain tumors removed in Japan. and he's on the man. So throw that positive juices out there, guys, to get him back on that throne. John, we love you, brother. All right, number
Yes,
2,
sir.
guitar player.
Believe it or not, he played with Prince, but his name is Miko Weaver. He's from Berkeley. And he did the Purple Rain tour. He's on a lot of the videos, man. Prince stole a lot of his licks from him, to be honest, 'cause that's where I learned guitar from, this guy named Miko Weaver out of Berkeley. Prince came to the Bay Area, and he got another friend of mine I went to school with, Levi Caesar. He played bass and guitar with him, actually. Yeah, but Miko really won. I think gave a lot of Prince his licks, you know. Yeah, definitely. People don't really know that, but I believe it because I've seen it. I witnessed this. Man, he's doing Miko licks. So, yeah.
Keyboard.
Miko Weaver from Berkeley. Play keyboard, George Duke.
Without question. Yeah.
Funk.
Let's go. I'll ask this because it's in our genre, but sax.
Sax, Maceo from James Brown. Yeah.
And I'm going to ask this question: percussion.
Ooh, I want to say before Pete. That's gonna be. I'm talking about
Okay. Bro. Peter Michael, Pete Senior, Sheila, Juan. They're all my brothers, man. So I mean, that's
man. Yeah, Juan.
Trust me.
Juan played on one of our songs. Good brother. We just did something for the recent Tower Power.
Mark VW. Yeah,
we did a benefit for him, man. We raised some good money with auction off a bass. We raised like $1,600 off just the bass, so that was great.
Man.
Yeah, man. But yeah,
here's
Peter Michael, good family.
Here's the last question, last instrument. I'm going to bring on Florentino. Florentino, are you there, brother boy?
I am, sir. What's going on, EQ?
What's up, my dude? What's up, man?
Joining the interview, man. Join two brothers, close brothers of mine, getting together on, this music.
The last question, Tino. Go ahead and ask EQ who his favorite bass player is, and I want him to think about it.
You just asked him.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, but you don't count. You don't count.
Official. EQ, who is your favorite bass player?
Only have one. Everybody knows Larry Graham.
I know. I was gonna say, if you didn't say Larry, you were gonna get excommunicated.
There you go. Hey, Tino, take over a while and talk to your brother, man. Pick up where we are and kind of fill in between it, and do some writing right here.
Hey, brother. First off, man, I knew that you lost your baby girl, but I didn't realize till what, man. And my heart just sunk when I heard that, and I greatly,
thank you, man.
Send my
thank you. I mean, I lost my joy of music when that day happened, 2003. But music has been the medicine now, from these years on. Because I had. I'll just get on the stage and be a zombie, but now I love it again. So I'm getting that feeling back, but it'll never be the same. But I know my daughter; she want me to continue, to the end.
Well, I think that spark of of the joy and that she brought to everybody just shines through the your fingers and through that those strings and that amp and PA systems, and I think that music is therapy. I think it heals the soul, clears the mind. Yeah. And and we appreciate you doing all that, man. And as a bass player, I will respectfully disagree that you are not a great bass player, because you are a great bass player, man. It's always about the pocket. See, what a lot of people don't. You and I talked about that before. It's always about making sure that I tell the young guys that I'm working with, this is not a guitar. It's a drum that makes tones. Play it like that. So and then
right.
And a lot of cats don't think about that, especially crazy guitar players. I'm going to give Rib Paul a little bit, because he can play some bass, but sometimes he forgets that he's playing a bass and he plays a little guitar on it, and it's one of the things that I think is there. And in fact, you got a new. I thought I've seen you got a new line of guitars, basses that you're repping. What's going on with that, bro?
Well, actually, no, not the back. I got the Trickfish.
The amp. I'm sorry, the amp. Yeah, that's what it was. I just missed on that. So tell us about that.
I was using just for a backline at this club called Yoshi's up in the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah.
Usually I order another type of amp, but man, they said, try this out. Man, I plugged this bass up. It was so clean. I didn't know it was on. You know how sometimes you might get a little but a chord, but even plugging in, it was so clean and direct, and I just couldn't believe the sound. So I didn't make it to NAMM, so I always seem to miss him. We're always working, but I just reached out to the brother named Rick, who runs Trickfish, man, and we built a relationship real quickly. I said, man, I love this amp. How can I sponsor you? He said, I would love to have you, man. I've been looking at your videos. You're a badass. I said, let's do it. I said, come on. So, yeah, man, I'm just making sure we got to help each other out. He's a new company, and, man, it's great sound, man. Florentino, you got to play through it if you get a chance.
Definitely. In fact, offline, let's talk and refer him over. We'll get him on one of our gear shows, and then we'll give him spotlight. Yeah, and then maybe even bring you on that to talk about the the benefits and the features and all that. If it's make it more technical, Jackie's show is all about the heart and the soul of everything that's going on. And I got to give a shout out to
smooth. I like Jackie. He's really smooth. I like it.
I got to give him a shout out because brother just had a birthday and he just got younger. You there, Jackie, or did you step away for a moment?
Oh, I'm right here, baby. I'm I'm listening to two bass players. I'm waiting for you guys to start giving me a rash of shit for being a percussionist.
Well, I have to say that nowadays I like playing bass better because I know EQ will remember this, having to lug around them giant ass Ampeg amps and just like trying to after the drummer, it was always the worst instrument to play because you always have that, and now you just like you said. Imagine that Trickfish is one of the the new amps that like the lightweight one. So it looked like it at least. How big is that thing?
It's about 6 pounds. It's real light, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You put that in your backpack and you lift up the speaker up because they got those new. The new metals that they use in those, you pick those up with your finger and you're rolling. But before you just have to have a truck lift for those bad boys for them. That's a
Hey, while I got you guys both on the line, why I got you guys both on, and let me ask you a question. You know how you turn a bass player down?
I don't know.
You put a chart in front of him. Put a chart in front of him. Okay, I had to throw that out, man. I very rarely get a chance to to chop it up with two brothers who usually play game and havoc with us. And so, Tino, don't go anywhere, man. I mean, can you believe it? It's already we're almost through with the first hour of a 2-hour interview with this bass player, good bass player, great bass player. Not talking about Tino, we're talking about Eric
hey,
Young.
I'm taking back my bass track from you, man.
You can't have that. Do me a favor, man.
Take it off, Paul. Take my bass track out of that intro song.
It's done. It's done. It's just going to be guitar.
Oh, we just made Paul's day. We just made Paul's day.
There you go. Yeah, and EQ, if I can tell you, man, that song that you hear, our bumper music, that is myself on percussion, Florentino on bass, and Paul Brzezinski, our COO, and excuse me, is he COO?
Yes,
he's cool. He's cool. And on guitar. So when we get back, you guys, we're going to be picking this up. Florentino, don't go anywhere, Florentino. I want you to hang out because I want to talk about the guys that you guys know together and what came out of that area called Sacramento.
Oh yeah.
And because I get educated on this. So with that said, Florentino, go ahead, do me a favor. Just take us out on this commercial and act like you're me if you can.
Oh, yeah. You've been listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertoni here on the Intertalk Radio Network, brought to you by Pitbull Audio, SIR, and all the other good companies that Jackie represents, like Sabian and Vader Sticks and all that fun stuff. We are here talking to Mr. EQ, Eric EQ Young from the band ConFunkShun, and he is laying down all the tracks and all of the cool things that happen in the Bay Area.
I've been replaced.
Hey, man, I used to do this for a little while myself, before I got behind the desk.
Kids, don't go anywhere.
Let's all get along.
We will be right back with Florentino and Eric EQ Young on Jackie's Groove. Don't go anywhere.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Al Di Meola, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertoni.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Sometimes our actions speak louder than words. Check it out when I hear you say you love me. Girl, you know you blow my mind. And daily it should be heard. 'Cause when I hear you say I love you, it shows me you care.
Everybody, welcome back to the second hour of a 2-hour interview with my in-studio guest, Mr. Eric E.Q. Young. Eric, welcome back. Florentino, welcome back, brothers.
Yes, yeah, man, the hour flew by, man.
Man,
let's do it again.
Let's do it again. We're going to do it right now. So
let's do it again.
Let's talk about that genesis of that tune.
Songs here.
Let's do some business. What about that song? Tell the audience about that song, brother.
That song, Do You Love Me? It's, because I know women always ask, do you love me? Can you, it's just, it's just a relationships type of song. It's good to hear. Sometimes we take each other for granted, but that's what the message is. We take each other for granted. We might not wake up, so it's good to say, I love you. I always tell my boys I love you, the women, family, it's a different love when it's, it's your love, but, I have no problem telling somebody I love them because life's too short, man.
Yeah.
I've learned that lesson the hard way. So that's why I try to share love and just have message music now. I didn't want to just make party music. I said, man, I got to leave a message some kind of way. So that's my process of thinking right now, but I'm in the process of writing funk music. So, but do I have a message with the funk, or how do you have a message with funk? It seems like it's just always a party regarding with funk music. So I'm kind of struggling with that right now. So where do I want to go? Because the music is funky, but how do you put a message to it? Right. Prince was clever with that, but man, how do I do it?
And speaking of Prince right now, I'm gonna sit there and go out on the limb right now. Florentino's working on putting this together with our dear friend of ours, Rob Funksta, and one of the funky guitar player with Chaka Khan, and he just joined the guitar throne with a group called Power Generation. Yes, they're back on the road, kids.
Actually, I think it's the Revolution, brother.
Oh, is it the Revolution?
Yeah, it's the Revolution. New Power Generation's back out with Levi and Miko. Well, is Miko in that one?
Thanks for covering that for me.
No, Miko's he's in, I think, Spain. You know, he said he didn't want to do none of that stuff. That's what he told me.
Yeah, he's some brothers from that. But yeah, I know Levi has his stuff up going on, and
Levi's doing his thing. Brown Mark and them got the Revolution.
Yeah. That's the one that Rob's on is with
Thank you,
Revolution.
brother. Thank you for correcting that. Yeah, Rob Bacon. And
he plays what? He plays what again?
Guitar.
He was he's Chaka Khan's MD, and he was the guitar player for the Arsenio Hall's second show. And amazing.
He used to play with Parliament too.
I know you're talking about
George Clinton in Parliament too. So yeah,
absolutely. So with that said, so my two bass playing brothers, say that 5 times fast. Florentino,
I can't do it.
So talk about your brothers and sisters here. You guys have in common in Sacramento, and kind of give them a shout out. Let them know what they're doing and how life has been treating them.
Well, first, right before we jump into that, I just have to say, EQ that song, and saying, somebody always wants you to say you love them. Jackie's always saying, "Do you love me, Tino?" I said, "Yeah, Jackie, I love you, Jackie."
Yeah, man, and it's all good, It ain't in that way, It's like it's brother love.
It is all about the brotherhood. But and speaking of that, man, we I don't know what it was about our time. I mean, you were a little bit earlier than my crew, but I grew up with Bobby. I've known Bobby G, and he's over with Sheila right now. He's with Sheila and Peter and Senior and all of those cats over there. Raphael. Our generation, man, had a crazy crop of just amazing players that just came out of that.
Talk about that.
So were you raised in Sacramento? What's that?
Yeah, I'm still in Sac, but we got our mutual friend Derek Allen.
Oh, Derek, yeah. He's still doing it.
He produced my song last year.
And of course Bobby's from there, and then Jay, how that Jay and all those cats, and now, were you raised in Sacramento? I couldn't remember.
I was raised in the Bay, the Richmond, and pretty much I guess I was bred in Oakland with my band. I was playing with Radiance, but pretty much the Bay Area.
Dude, I love that band back in
about 6. Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. I in fact, I was the one who introduced you all to the Philippines, man. My cousin was a DJ, and they wanted all the latest hip hop. Well, actually, it was R&B at that time. It wasn't hip hop, but they wanted all the latest dance tracks, and so I got them Radiant. I got them your band. I got your album. I got all that whatever Lakeside, all that stuff. So because that day they didn't have the internet, so they didn't know what was. All they got was the pop stuff. So yeah, it was cool times, man. And then the Bay Area, we were all kind of, for those folks that don't realize, Sacramento, a lot of the cast from Sacramento claim Bay Area, and then vice versa, a lot of the guys from the Bay Area was there. In fact, I was, when I talked to Peter Michael, I didn't realize the first time I ever seen or heard of Peter Michael was with ConFunkShun at my high school.
Yeah. Sheila played with ConFunkShun and Peter Michael. Man,
In fact, he took the gig from Sheila. That's I guess how that happened. So, and then Marty Hom. Do you remember Marty? He was
that's how I got my first traveling gig, top 40 gig, man. Actually, Jerry Martini from Sly Stone, he was a booking agent for him, and Marty Hom sent this band called Phase 2 out of Sacramento, and I joined. I had a week to get learn 80 songs, get a passport, and man, that was my first traveling experience at 18, living in Hawaii for 9 months. Then we went on a Asian tour.
What was Dave Rapace? Was Dave part of that one? No.
It was a Japanese lady named Barbara Long. Her boyfriend Daryl Chow.
Yes.
I was the only brother in the band. It was all just interracial, man. It was so cool. It was real cool.
So Daryl lived around the block from me. Literally around the block. I used to walk by his house going to school, and he caught me stealing strawberries from his front yard. And Barbara, I think, went on to play with Hiroshima. Am I not right?
Yes, Hiroshima.
Yes. So
I had my time with the boys with Hiroshima. You just said something that's very cool, guys. You talk about multicultural, multiracial band. I mean, nobody gets more cultural and multiracial than the group Tower of Power. I mean, you had Italians, you had Black, you had Asian, you had German. Didn't have any Filipinos, but I'm sure there's a reason for that. But in talking about this consortium of all your friends itself, I'm real curious, and I want you to share this too, Tino, because we talk about this. But EQ and I talked offline. We talked about Slade, the groups itself. What groups did you, Florentino, love in that genre of music that is still out there? But what did you what did you levitate to when it came to funk like that?
Dude, I'm not because EQ's here, but ConFunkShun, because they were some local boys,
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously I was a Prince addict at that time. I would dress and do the whole thing. I still miss the girls running around in camisoles. That was a different time for us back then.
Yeah, that was a good era.
Girls running around half naked, and it was acceptable. That was pretty interesting. And then Lakeside Parliament, the Whispers. Shalimar, it's just, all those bands would come touring through Sacramento, and they play at the Memorial Auditorium. Every so often they'd have the bigger ones over at the Cal Expo. So it was a different
time. Remember that club, Galactica 2000? Remember that club?
I played there, man. I played Bobby's first gig. Dude, when you see Bobby, say, dude, what's going on with your new attitude? Because we had a band called Bobby G's New Attitude.
Actually, I had a top 40 band, and we opened up for ConFunkShun at the Galactica. Man,
and then they changed it to the second level. Yeah, that was the joint, man. Yeah, and literally you had to walk upstairs to get to the club, and it was there on 16th Street. So a lot of cats get played through there. I think it's like demolished now.
World.
Yeah, it is a small world.
EQ, let me ask you a question, brother. And Tino, I'll throw it to you also. If you guys weren't playing bass, what would you guys find yourself playing?
Gosh, keyboards for me probably.
I'd say the same, but I don't think anybody would let me play keyboards. I tried. That was my main instrument for a while, but I'm too rudimentary, man. I one note at a time is good for me.
I mean, I look at it now because that instrument to me will never die. I mean, you could go do a gig, but a piano only. The Prince just did, piano and the mic. So you could get away with it if you. So yeah, I really wish I started early on a corded instrument. I started on guitar, but there was just too many strings. I said, man, I need bass. I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
But now that I went back and relearned everything, being taught by Nico Weaver as you speak on the Prince era. Yeah.
I met Nico back in '87, man. Yeah, that brother is funky.
So funky. Oh my goodness, we miss him here, man. He's over in Spain. He said, I ain't coming back.
Really? He's there for good now? I don't see him on Facebook as much. He used to have some really interesting posts.
He's on there. Yeah, he's on there a lot. And, I stay in touch with his sister. His sisters live in Berkeley still.
I got to add him back to my stream. So somehow I lost him.
EQ, let me ask you a question, brother, because we're sitting here talking. Tino and I, there's one thing Tino and I love to do. And when we're getting together, we love to break bread. That's because the bottom line is it all comes down to, especially in my family, we call it the food. Everything's based upon, we could be having breakfast and talking about what we're going to have for lunch, and at lunch talking about what we're going to have for dinner, and the circle goes on. So I sit down in a restaurant with my new brother, EQ, and we're sitting down. What are you and I eating? What's EQ's favorite food for his stomach?
Oh, man, if you want to see me cry, put a big prime rib in front of me, man. My cousin took me to Cattleman's. I don't know if you ever been there, man.
Cattleman's Wharf? Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
Which one did you go to?
It was out here in Roseville.
Okay, so they got a new one in Roseville. Because there was one that was like deep, like off the 50, I think, if I remember
rightly. My goodness, man. I literally shed tears. They took pictures of it and put it all on Facebook. Man, that steak was... I couldn't believe how...
the bomb.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. It was an awesome experience. Yeah, I would have steak and baked potato salad and iced tea.
It's all about the ribeye.
And we can send the check to Intertalk. So we can do an all you can eat situation, and with that, a lot of the listeners want to know, and I want to know also, brother. EQ, before a gig, do you like to eat before you go on, or do you do the sacrilegious thing and eat at 11 o'clock at night after the gig?
I might snack. Usually there's a lot of fruit in the dressing room, so I always get it into the fruit. And sometimes I might hit a Red Bull just for extra spark, but usually, and usually they have a big spread. But no, I don't try to eat heavy because, it definitely slows you down. I really think you'd be sleepy, dragging, and I just like to give it my all on stage. I don't have a situation on stage. But yeah, I just pump the fruit and pretty much juices and stay hydrated because I do a lot of dancing.
And with that said, let me ask you this next question. What are you doing now, brother, in your prime of our lives, in our midlife, as we call it? What are you doing now to prepare for the day, 2 hours on stage, as opposed to what you did 30 years ago? What do you find yourself doing before the gig?
I do a lot of walking and riding bikes. People see me on the street, they'd be amazed that, man, is that EQ riding a bike? I say, yeah. I mean, I've always been an athletic-minded person, so, I've been slender all my life, but I do work at it, so
Bastard.
I just stay active.
Exactly.
And my father told me that. My father's like 89, but you wouldn't think he is. He always takes walks, so I'm at that process now. I don't run anymore. I take daily walks in the neighborhood, and I usually take my bike out, but I'm athletic minded all the way, so I really believe in being in shape on stage because I just like to give it my all. So, I can't defile the body. I don't drink, so I don't smoke. So, great.
You don't drink, don't smoke. What's the old song say? Then what do you do? That's the whole thing. Hey, EQ, let me ask you this question also, brother, because I want to know. But if you can share, because this is an open book interview. It's an open book network. Can you think of something right now that you'd want to share with the listeners out there? Something that was fun / crazy / should have been in Ripley's Believe It or Not that happened on the road for you. Think about that. Something that you want to share with us that has never been published.
Oh, wow. Guys, if you want to go to the dark side, can we go on the dark side?
Well, Tino, you're going to have to excuse yourself, Tino, because let me tell you, Paul Berezetsky, the engineer and, of course, the guitar player on Jackie's Grooves Music, when he and I get into a late-night texting situation, we have to excuse Florentino because our conversations go south quickly. So Tino, you're welcome to hang on, though, but so go to the deep, dark south right now and share something with us, EQ.
God, it was just the weirdest. Well, I'll share two things. Okay, the first thing, I was in the Philippines. And I was 19, the first touring band. We stayed there 2 weeks. So I went to this club and girls were dancing and da-da-da-da. I couldn't speak the language they were speaking. So one girl asked me to dance. She just grabbed my hand. I got to dance with her. But then this other girl came up and said she wanted to dance with me. They're speaking in their language, so I didn't understand what was going on. Next thing I know, this girl's not the girl out who was dancing with me because she wanted to dance with me. And do you know I kept dancing with the girl who won the battle for the dance? It was just mind blowing that someone did this just to dance with me. I said, wow, she actually knocked her out. But I was too scared to stop dancing. I said, man, I'm in a foreign country.
They're probably sisters too.
Oh my goodness.
EQ,
okay,
EQ,
that was light compared to this one. Okay.
Okay, EQ, do me a favor, buddy. I'm gonna jump in and interrupt you real quick because we're going on. Out. I can't believe it, man. We're going out, but you're not going to get off the hook because we're going to pick this up when we come back on segment number 5 on Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. We're going to come back with my in-studio guest, Mr. Eric EQ Young, and the CEO of our network, Mr. Florentino Buenaventura. You guys, I'm laughing. I'm smiling right now because he's not going to get off the hook. He's going to pick it up. We're going to find out if the girl really was a girl, and you're going to be honest with us, EQ. You guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 5 on a 2-hour interview on Jackie's Groove. Hey guys, this is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. I do want to say one thing, man. That song you heard at the top of this set, this on segment number 5, is brought to you by my in-studio guest, Mr. Eric E.Q. Young. And Eric, I'm going to take one quick second here, welcome you back, and I also want to do some business. Even though the CEO kind of sloughed over our sponsors, I am the responsible host. So I want to take a couple seconds here and thank our sponsors for keeping this crazy ship afloat. And they'll start off at the top of Pitbull Audio, and Calvin Lee and all the Motley crew over there. Thank you guys for taking care of us. And you can reach them at pitbullaudio.com. They just want you to play it loud. Somebody I'm sure EQ is familiar with, as I know I am, is a company called Studio Instrument Rentals, better known as SIR, SIR-USA.com, for all your backline and studio instrument rental needs. And also, two people that I'm more biased to. My newest sponsor, Blue Microphones, BlueMIC.com, who's making me sound better than I actually think I do. Thank you, gentlemen, for believing in my voice. Also, to my wood stick company, my drumstick company, the best in the industry, Vader Percussion, I've been with for 22 years. Sabian Cymbals, you can reach them, by the way, Vader.com. Sabian Cymbals at Sabian.com, I've been with them 22 years. Drum Workshop, DW Drums. Thank you, gentlemen, for standing behind us. And a company I'm most biased to. 27 years Jackie's been with them playing percussion. It's called LP Music. You can reach them at lpmusic.com for everything with the best players play. So with that said, Eric, welcome back, brother. Now, when we got off this last set, we were talking about some fun stories here. And I told you I was not going to let you get away with this, man. So you're talking about how the Filipinas out there, or the Pinays as they call it, right, how they welcome all different colors to the Philippines.
Yes.
And this girl's talking to you, and it was called Tagalog. She walked away. You're dancing, and when you said you were afraid to walk away or walk off the dance floor, I'm going to give you 3 words, and it's called the crying game. Was that an experience that you had to deal with that itself? Don't lie, man. Don't lie. Was it a female or a she-male?
No, she was a beautiful Filipino girl. They was about 5'2". They was real short. It was just, I still could see the scene in my head. It was an outdoor, get together club, whatever. I'm just dancing with the lady. With the next lady, she started trying to dance with me. Then the other one pushed her. Then next thing I know, crack right in the jaw. She went down.
Really?
I kept dancing. I said, man, because, I felt, I'm all alone, I didn't have backup for anything to go down. I was like, man, let me get through this song.
I love it.
Yeah, man, but, man, that was a fun scene, but there was a dark scene, too, man. I was living in Japan. I was kind of buck wild at the time, freshly divorced, so, man, I had a little girlfriend, but like I said, I was freshly divorced, so it was like Lay's potato chips. I couldn't have just one, but then
it was on.
The ultimate getting caught, so
right.
I was working in another city, Nagoya, Japan. It's like 3 hours from Tokyo where I live.
Right.
So then I came home, and my girlfriend said, "Oh, I'm sad." I said, "What's going on?" She said, You have another girlfriend. I said, oh, my goodness. Then, the player's card got... That's how that song you just started out. That song, One Special Love, that's how I wrote that song, because it was about, I did someone wrong, and I shouldn't have did. They did nothing wrong to me. So I was just, pretty much not in my right mindset, I guess, But then I got caught, but the girl loved so deeply, man, and we had a little apartment that we shared, and she grabbed the big Ginzu knife and did the ultimate, cut her wrist. She survived. She lived. I grabbed some silver duct tape. You guys know that big 2 or 3 inch silver duct tape, right?
Oh man, yeah. Man, Filipino man, we know that. That's a fix-all.
I wrapped her wrist up. Man, this was like 6 in the morning because I couldn't get home till like that time because the trains. I would work Roppongi, and that's I had to take a train back to my home. It was in the countryside, they call it. So I got home at 6 in the morning. The next thing I cut her wrist and tried to get out the apartment. We stayed on the 3rd floor. She ran down the stairs. The blood was splattering on the wall. I was gonna save all this for my book, but what the heck?
Right.
Man, I was able to catch up with her, and at that time it was hip hop gear, so I'm running down the street with my pants falling down from sagging. It was snowing, and she was a tall Japanese girl, like 5'7". So I had to pick her up and carry her up 3 flights of stairs, then wrap her, then do the duct tape. She said, "You're gonna go to jail." I said, "I didn't cut my wrist. You cut your whole damn wrist." I said, man, that let me know I didn't never want to play with no one's heart, ever again. So some people can love deep to where I'm sharing this just to be truthful, man, because there's a lot of stuff like out there to where people worship certain people, but man, you got to recognize the signs, and I didn't see the signs. I thought we had a cool relationship, but man, it was around that Bobby time, when that girl cut off Mr. Man's stuff. So it was during that era. I said, "Oh, I better get out of Japan."
Yeah, but that's all about maturity, man. That's about growing up. That's about, that's life's lessons, man. So, as hard as they may be, as long as you learn from the mistakes. Exactly.
Yeah, I never want to play with no one's heart ever again. That's why I wrote that song, One Special Love. And you just started with the track. It's so subliminal how, we went into this story. But yeah, that's how I wrote that song.
Hey, EQ, let me switch gears for a quick second. Think about this for a second. If EQ wasn't playing music, what would EQ be doing?
Probably in the medical field. I was actually doing that. I stopped doing that in 2008. I just went full-time in music. But the medical field, I was always in either an ear, nose, and throat office, or dermatologist office, or a family practice. I did the medical billing. So it was cool. You know, it took me away from my music life. I did that, 9 to 5, didn't travel on the weekends, but decided to go full time and just, follow my.
You answered that quick, man.
My heart.
You answered that quick, which is pretty cool, man. So that was fresh in your mind, because a lot of people, I ask that question, and the first word that comes out of their mouth is "wow," and they don't think about it. I remember I asked Peter Michael, and I said to Peter Michael, if you weren't playing music, if you weren't producing, directing, MDing, what would you be doing? And Peter Michael said, I'd be crying that I wasn't doing music. Wow. And when it's in our DNA, man, it's something that's always there. But we do, kids out there, the music business is something you really ought to double think about, man, because very few of us make it. Very few of us make it in this business. And when you get your foot through the door, and we're going to talk about it on the last segment, because I want to talk about the music business of yesteryear and the music business of today. And then I want EQ's personal opinion of where he thinks it's going to be going. Is it glass half empty, glass half full? Or is EQ the guy that picks up the glass and drinks the water because it's there? And I want to find more about that. But let me ask you this question. And other than Florentino and myself, who are the coolest artists you've ever met?
The coolest artist, man, it just made me, gosh. And I met Frankie Beverly, actually.
Very cool.
Man, pretty much a legend. We were riding in first class, and this was right after my daughter was murdered. Mm-hmm. And, man, I knew who he was. I didn't want to, hey, Frankie Beverly, And we was just chopping it up, He was just so cool as a human, Eventually, he realized who I played with and all that stuff. But man, he was just a cool man. This guy, he's still working today, man. I went to this guy off the cruise ship. Tom joined us cruise 2 weeks ago, and he was there performing with his band. They sound just as great as ever. I said, man, Larry Graham was on the cruise as well, so I got to hang out with him. Always good to see him. Man, it was a week-long cruise of all sorts of entertainers, from Ice Cube, R. Kelly, down to BBD. Man, Mary J. Blige. The list was crazy. Evelyn King was actually there too. Yeah.
Was Freddie with her, the husband?
Freddie was there. Yeah.
Freddie Fox. Good. Hey, you know what? You just mentioned that again. I wanted to ask you this question because it's very cool that you brought it back up when you talk about the different people out there. When you were talking to Larry, if you were truly chopping it up, man, what was his demeanor like since post Prince is passing? Because, a lot of people, and I'm going to say this, man, I'm going to go out of my wheelhouse, but a lot of people blame Larry Graham for the introduction to Prince because of the JWs. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I totally disagree. And
okay.
I'm just sitting there talking to him. We spent 3 days just chopping it up. But, I'm glad he's not in the press with it. I believe in really just let a brother rest in peace. And I don't know, I just feel like Prince is being exploited. To me, there's only one Prince. It's sensitive to say, I know all the guys want to play again, but I know some personal members who said they would never go back and play with him, but now I see the exploitation, and it kind of bitters me. I know Miko said he wouldn't, and I'm proud of him. And even Larry, he plays a few Prince songs, but he's not trying to exploit him and make money off of him, man. It's like, I commend him for that, but I didn't ask him about it because, he probably did introduce him to that, but, we all got a dark side, we don't know everything that someone's doing now. I mean, you think about all the greats, how they passed. It was always behind, drugs, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, Michael. We could name a list, it's just, God, but I believe it's a spiritual war regarding all that stuff, too, I really believe in faith.
And I'm going to introduce you, and I'm sure you probably know him already, but we have another gentleman, another great musician on our network. His name is Aaron A-Train Smith. Aaron, the original drummer for The Temptation, Papa Was a Rolling Stone. He's got an amazing show on the network called Intersect, and it's all about faith and how it's brought you through. you know, and it's about music and so on. There's Florentino. And, you know, and I want to ask another question, brother, if I can, and you guys can talk about that offline. So, Aaron, I'm handing it off. I'm handing Mr. EQ off to you, man. So I'd love to see you guys talk about that. So let's go back for 1 second.
I'll connect.
I got to ask this question. Tino, I'm going to ask this question to EQ because we just touched on this. So let's stay on this. EQ, 2 words, bucket list. Share with us.
Look, actually, to be on stage, how Marcus Miller and Larry Graham just go at it on a set, you know, just to have that opportunity to be on stage and really jam with Larry. I haven't got that experience. You know, he always invite me up. I will sing, you know, a slide song, but not to jam with him. For some reason, I don't know why we won't make that connection. Okay. But, you know, he gives me so much props. I mean, he said, man, did you hear what I told these people? You know, we're in San Francisco at Yoshi's. He said, you are my favorite bass son. I said, you know, but I didn't pay no mind, you know, because I had just finished rehearsing his band, so I was just trying to settle up business. I'm not going to lie, I was trying to get my money. Larry, you need to take care of me now. But he said, did you hear what I just told these people? You are my favorite. I said, yeah, I heard all that, but can you pay me?
You did?
Oh, man. Yeah, he paid me because I played one song. He would go make a costume change, and I played one song with the rest of the band. Right. A costume change. It was cool, man. But, man, just to be on stage, I wanted to have that moment. And everybody on the cruise wanted to see that happen, too. They was trying to make it happen, but he got off the ship early. Then we didn't play until that next day. And when he had got off, he only stayed 3 days. We did the whole 7-day cruise.
Florentino, do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to jump in. Florentino, I want you to reach over through the phone. I want you to pick up EQ's phone. Take it from him for a second, brother.
Okay.
And I want you to open up his music files. EQ, what are you listening to?
I am listening to my newfound ancestry cousin, Chucky Booker. I just
related to Chucky? Why are you related to Chucky? That's crazy.
I just found out. I've been doing this ancestry since I did the DNA test. I just found out he is my cousin. So
how cool is that?
Well, that's so funny because Chucky's like honorary Sacramento. I mean, he's like everybody he plays with is from our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so it's like I can't wait to reach out to him. I'm trying to make the final connection with the tree that I'm working with. But yeah, we're cousins. Maybe fourth generation.
Do you recommend spending that money? Because my wife and I have been talking about 23andMe, and is it worth it putting out the $100 minimal?
It is, man. It's so. I did the ancestry. It's so worth it, man. I found so many family members. Actually, I found my father's oldest sister. My father has 9 sisters, and there was just one they didn't talk about, and she was the oldest. She just passed 2 months ago, but I found her. And I found all my other cousins, and she married like 3 or 4 different people. So there's so many other cousins I found just doing that test, man.
And that's so cool because my wife's favorite program is a program, I don't know what network it's on, but it's called Who Do You Think You Are? And
yes.
It's all the stars, and you go back and deep, to where it's at. And every time we say that, I said, let's pick up the phone or let's go online and order it up. So I think we're going to do it because I'm hearing it now from the horse's mouth. And you know what I'm also hearing from the horse's mouth right now, my brother? I'm seeing a red light flashing because Paul is doing that. He's telling me, Jackie, reel it in, pump the brakes. And we're going to go into the last segment of this. And EQ, we got to talk about ConFunkShun, man. We got to talk about everything that is all about Eric EQ Young. Florentino, that's his job. We're going to find out how we can stock you, and we're going to find out how we can put some money in your pocket also. And we'll talk about more about ConFunkShun and so on. And the inspiration of me growing up as a white boy, Italian, but grew up with funk in my heart. You can't get away from that. And speaking of funk in the heart, you're talking about a Filipino on the other line also too that's got more funk and soul than probably you and I put together. So with that said, you guys, I can't believe it, man. I didn't know this gentleman going into it personally, and usually when I get on the line with somebody, and 2 hours isn't enough. But I'm telling you right now, this brother, EQ, 2 hours is not enough, my brother. So when we come back on the next set, we're going to pick it up on segment number 6, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. And my brother, Mr. Eric EQ Young. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on segment number 6 We're going to reel it in. We're going to have fun, fun, fun. How's that?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Tony Lindsay, lead vocalist with Santana, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertone.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertone.
Let me give you a few clues to let you know if your man is feeling you. Do you feel like you've been taken for granted? And check this out. Does he appreciate the little things you do? Does he hold your hand in public? That's one sign he's in love with you.
Everybody, welcome back to the final segment on Jackie's Groove. Guys, this is Jackie Bertone. Jackie's Groove, Intertalk Radio Network. You're all to into the. What's our motto? You're into all things music. I'm sitting here smiling right now, man, because I'm listening to this song, and it's almost like EQ went ahead and he put together these choices of music, and maybe it's just coincidental because we were talking earlier about how we should stop taking life for granted, and as Mike and the Mechanics wrote a great song called "In the Living Years." Guys, don't hold off saying what you got to say to people. If it's positive or negative, just get it off your chest because there's no phone calls to heaven, from what I understand. So, with that said, I got to ask you a question, my brother, and this is something I've always asked everybody else because we've all had that experience. And I'm going to ask you this experience real quick. Where were you? What were you doing? And what song was it that you heard EQ on the radio for the first time?
Let's see. My song, "I Never Stop Loving You," came out 3 years ago. It was all live music. I got two different type of stuff. I was trying to bring back the live instruments, and actually it stayed in the top 10 R&B sales for 2 weeks. So I was proud of that, and got a Grammy nod too. I was considered. So it came out late, but I still got the consideration. I was happy with that, and just I was in Sacramento actually, and I'm a manager at the time, and was just trying to do promos and out to people, then I heard the drum, but it starts with a drum beat. I said, "Oh my goodness, that's my song, man!" I was with my wife, because that's the song I actually wrote that song about her, and it came on the radio, man. It's like the original demo. I had her singing background on it, and she was all in tears actually. So yeah, man, that was 3 years ago. I heard my song "Never Stop Loving You." It's still out there on iTunes and Amazon, and there's a YouTube video as well, man. Yeah, man.
Yes, you just said your better half was crying. Now, I want you to be honest with me, man. Did you shed a tear or two at that time?
No, I was just, because all my lyrics, I don't write. I don't use paper or pen. I just flow, whatever comes on the top of my head, and I'll just try to make sense. I'll go back and listen to it and have a conversation with the music, because I have bad carpal tunnel, so for me to even sign autographs is a struggle sometimes from all the years of playing. So, I never write my lyrics down. People trip out how I record. I just turn on the mic, and if I get a hook, then I'll just talk about it. I'll just have a conversation, whatever subject that we're on, and just make it a song. And of course, it has to rhyme with certain words, but I'll get clever with the words and, research the dictionary, just try to get words that sound alike but they mean the same and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I was shocked when I heard that song.
That's so cool, man, because Richie Kotzen, I interviewed, he says, as a musician, you'll know this. He goes, because he'll think about a song, melody, harmony in the middle of the night, and he'll get up and he goes, "Man, you better write that down." He goes, "No, I'm not going to get up, man. I'll remember in the morning." He gets up in the morning and forgot about it altogether, and then picked it up 2 years later. And so that is, that's a learning curve itself. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to lie. I asked that question about hearing yourself. I remember the first time I heard myself on the radio, brother, I cried like a girl watching Justin Bieber walk out on stage for the first time. I've gotten used to it over, but I still smile, man, because the music business has differed. The music business has, like Richie said, here's a man that's our age, and he's very, very successful in the industry, but he says, my peers are going to hate my answer. But I like where the music business is today. So let me ask you this question. EQ, share with me and my listeners, what's your opinion on the music business today, or the lack thereof?
I think there's a lack of, I think anybody who has a computer can put out a song. It's like the real fight to be an artist is not even there no more. Anybody could make a song, You could download, iTunes accept it, whatever. But it's like, I don't think it's fair, because there's a lot of people still deserve to be recognized. There's a lot of unsung heroes out there that just been in the game. Even the old school market that I work with, we don't get the media. And I've been touring 23 years, but ConFunkShun been touring for 47 years. Wow. But you'll never hear about that on TV or the award shows. They don't even honor funk as a genre in the Grammys. How can you not? I just, I was invited down, I did all that, but I just see how everything's a click, I say, I'm not chasing any kind of award, ever. I just want to put out good music, and hopefully someone would like it. I'm not trying to get any kind of status, like that. I do it for the love of the music, and that's, I let the people judge that. If they like it, you have your choice. You have your choice.
Hey, EQ, I just got a message just now from Paul, my engineer, and we just got a call in just now. He wanted to say hi, but he's in the middle, knee-deep in a session. Dale Edwards said, "Tell my brother I love him, man. I'm in a session. I would love to surprise him, but surprise him by saying I'm listening, but I can't get on the phone." So Brother Dale was saying hey to you, and Brother Dale, we love you, man, for taking into consideration, man.
That's my Asian brother. Yes, sir, man. Tell him the same. I'll reach out to him. Actually, he pulled out a ConFunkShun a few months ago. His solo work is catching on, and I'm proud of him for that. We've always been pushing each other to do the original thing, and I'm really proud of him for stepping up and just stepping out on faith. And that's what it is.
That's it, man.
All about. I think, he's working. He's doing great.
Hey, Flo Joe, do me a favor. Will you take over right now for a second and see how we can get people all up in his business right now?
I don't have a nice butt and run well, so I don't think you can call me FloJo.
There you go, brother.
Oh no, I was waiting to see some spandex. I had a spandex for some reason.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You can't hide nothing in spandex. You cannot hide nothing in spandex.
Oh my goodness!
I did wear spandex back in the day. I played in the metal band back in the day, so I'm not a pretty sight.
Yeah, we all did that. We did that thing. Yeah, I remember those days.
Not a pretty sight.
I didn't.
Because you were sexy and you knew it.
Yeah, please.
Anyway, well, this part of the segment, this part of the show, we like to really kind of let people know how they can find out more about you. Obviously, 2 hours is not enough time to kind of shine a spotlight on Eric EQ's Young's career and all the things that you do, brother. So, what are some of the websites? You got a cool website. You got some Facebook. You got some Twitter. All that stuff. Tell us all the pertinent ways for us to know more.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my dog barking. But pretty much I'm on all the major social sites, Twitter, Instagram. I got Reverb Nation. My website is down right now. It's being updated, so that's down right now. But it'll be under EricEQYoung.com once it get back up rolling. But yeah, I got music out on iTunes under my name. Everything's pretty much branded with Eric EQ Young. I didn't want to just use anything else other than that. But yeah, man,
that's cool.
Facebook,
cool.
You reach me on Facebook. I got a fan page or a personal page. Feel free to friend me. Yeah, man, I love sharing with my fans. If you would come on my page, you'll see I share pretty much. I'm open book with my life.
Yeah. The kind of funny thing is, through social media, that's how me and EQ met. I was actually doing a show with Bobby, and you gave it a thumbs up, and way to go for Bobby is a interview on the Change the Stage show that I do, and I was like, dude, this is EQ, man, what's going on, brother? Why don't you come on my show? And he's like, yeah, and then we became fast friends. So I holler at you. Here's a question. Here's a question that for all three of us, we have something in common besides music, besides love of food, and besides old school and funk and all that stuff. We have one thing in common that we all do. Can either one of you guys figure what that is?
Sleep.
Sleep we do. It's hats. EQ is a hat brother. He has some of the most amazing hats, man. You always see that bro with a hat. And same thing with Jackie. Jackie's a hat brother, and same thing with myself. Right now I'm not wearing, but it's a big thing for us. So it's kind of cool.
I took that style from my grandfather. Actually, I looked at some of his older pictures when he was a youngster. He had a fedora. So I pretty much look like him too, man. So I took his style and just added the thug with the bandana. So
yeah. And I've been wearing hats since I was a baby boy, man. I've always had a hat. I always had a fedora style. I mean, and I'll post that up one of these days. But let me tell you, I have a great idea then. With that said, why don't the three of us get a band together and we'll call it Hats Off?
Okay,
that's my little story right
or the
there,
Hat
man.
Brothers.
Okay, let's work on that name, but yeah, let's go with that one for now.
Hey, also EQ, and I always say this too. We got to give a shout out to everybody that takes care of us, because I've always said, when we're young and we're fledgling musicians, we're working our asses off to try to get the best gear. Then we are blessed to be in the big leagues, and with that comes the respect from the manufacturers, and that thing is called endorsements. As I said earlier, I've been very, very blessed over the years to be endorsed by the best itself. But let's not forget about the fact that EQ has got endorsements. EQ, you want to give a shout out to who you strap on?
Actually, this is so new to me because I never try ever to get endorsement until now. I'm just with the Trickfish. Yeah, never made it to NAMM. I was always on the road working, but I never made it to NAMM. And I just, played through the app, and I just pretty much hashtagged him at first, and he saw my interest, and I told him where I heard his amp, and we took it from there. But I never tried to get endorsement at all. I just get what I get and just play it. But no, I never searched into that. People haven't taught me that trick yet. I see a lot of cats with endorsements, but I don't know the game with that.
Well, let me tell you, the CEO of our network he's got the corner market on that. So hopefully, man, when you come down the area, where I'm going to go with this, Tino. With our boys at Pitbull Audio, maybe get a little bit of a thing together with EQ and maybe do a live show down there, Florentino?
Yeah. I think that would be awesome, man. When this
awesome.
brother's traveling. This brother's traveling, but yeah, I think there's, we got. Do you know Daryl Williams?
Daryl Williams, that sounds familiar.
He plays with he plays with Jeffrey Osborne, and he's Huge Groove and a bunch of other
vocalist,
folks.
Saxophonist.
No. Daryl Williams, the other Daryl.
Oh, Daryl, a bass player.
Bass player Daryl. Yeah.
DW.
Yeah, so I mean, we got a couple of Daryl Williams over here. Daryl Williams,
yes.
with the East Bay Soul, who's Greg Adams from Tower Power fame. But So Daryl does some stuff. We have to bring you down here, man. Next time you come through with these things, is bring you to the shop, and it's Pitbull Audio is pretty freaking amazing, man, because they've got the best showroom. It really is more of a showroom than it is you don't have like 50 of the same thing on the wall. You got one of each of the things, and they got a big warehouse in the back. And if you want custom things,
like
and
Disney thing.
yeah, most of the stuff they do is online, but they really try to support local as well. So that's pretty cool. And Jackie's show is a big big proponent of the company, and we're with them because they believe in the musicians. Their tagline is "Never let go," because they realize cats, no matter Jackie, you asked that question of me back in the day. I'm gonna have to recite that. You said, "What would you do if you weren't doing music?" And basically, I'd be starting a radio station. So that's kind of how it went. And kind of with that, even though I'm doing this and I don't play as much as I used to, that's how we kind of connected with Pitbull. They support you. No matter what stage of life you're at and what you're doing, they know that people music's always going to be in their heart. And so, even though I run a radio network, it is in the music field, so that's kind of cool. And I'll play out every so often, but I don't tour or anything like that anymore.
Let me ask you, EQ, you and I need to share the stage together, brother, because I got to tell you, I've been watching your videos, and there's one thing I can do, because when you get that deep groove funk moving, man, and where the drummer lays out and so on, there's one thing I'm known for, man. I do this all the time. My boy, Vale Johnson from Kenny G's band, when I'm sitting in with Kenny, with Ronnie Powell, we do this whole area where Ronnie walks up on stage and he has a shaker-a, and he's playing it. And so now Vale is into this stupid, funky, deep, so deep you got to get louder to get out of it groove. And where I'm playing straight shaker, straight fours, man. And so you can imagine bass line, shaker-a, and shaker. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about trenching a groove through an audience. I would love to do that with you, man. I'm a fan, man. I've been enjoying. I like your old school flavor, man, and that's something that is so lost today, man. And it's the thing about real fucking music. Kids, listen, go out, get beat up. I say this is my soapbox. Welcome doors being slammed in your face. Welcome the word no. But make that word no a good avenue and a vehicle for you to say, yes, I can. And get out there, man, and experience it. You're trying to tell somebody what the road like is like telling somebody who's been eating peanut butter all their life what a steak tastes like. You can't savor it until you're out there doing it. Do you agree with me, brother, in this last minute and 25 seconds about how to stay relevant in this industry? Go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, man, you hit it right on the nail, man. Oh God, but just your drive got to be so recognized. Without even just walking in your room, got to be that presence. I know he's an entertainer. I get that a lot. I walk in the room, they just know I'm an entertainer. They just can't figure out what I play, but I know you do something in music, so you just got to brand yourself. Like, I keep my look the same. Pretty much they'll see me out, but if I just want to just go under, I totally dress different. People, I walk past people to say, man, they don't recognize me. I say, cool, but you just got to brand yourself and believe in yourself and take those words in no, because they mean a lot, man.
Yes.
I mean, I grew up like that. No, you can't play with us. You're too young. But that motivated me to go work hard, and I showed them in 6 months that I was ready. Then next thing I know, I'm hanging out with Larry Graham. So now, you can't tell me that you can't. And a broken thumb. I have a handicap, but it didn't stop me. So it's just your own personal passion, desire, whatever it is, music or sports or whatever. Be a teacher, lawyer, doctor. Just have passion for it. Don't think about.
There we go. EQ, there's that bumper music. Everybody, thank Mr. Eric
Mr.
EQ Young for joining our show, man. Thank you, brother boy. And as I always say with everything, I love you, brother. We'll talk offline. Peace through music, man, and keep that drive strong. Keep that drive alive. Love you guys. Peace.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.